The CIA director tells the truth on ISIS. I'm Brian Lilly with the Rebel.media. John Brennan, the director of the Central Intelligence Agency, appeared before the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence on Thursday and told some scary and sobering news about the battle against the Islamic State. The one that's getting the most headlines, the nugget of news, is that ISIS will be using the refugee crisis, the global refugee crisis, to place their foreign fighters on Western soil.
We judge that ISIL is training and attempting to deploy operatives for further attacks. ISIL has a large cadre of Western fighters who could potentially serve as operatives for attacks in the West. And the group is probably exploring a variety of means for infiltrating operatives into the West, including in refugee flows, smuggling routes, and legitimate methods of travel.
Now, that is not new information. That's something that any of us that have been paying attention for some time have known about. We've talked about it here on The Rebel. We've talked about it elsewhere. We've also been denounced as bigots, as racist for saying such things. But ISIS has said this up front, and they've already done it in several instances. It's something that the United States has to be clear about, as President Obama and the Obama administration look to replicate what Canada's done with the refugee rush. But then there's the other piece of information, that despite pushing back ISIS in some territorial areas, including taking back ground in areas like Fallujah, overall, ISIS hasn't been dented by the ongoing battle by the coalition, not at least according to Brennan.
Unfortunately, despite all our progress against ISIL on the battlefield and in the financial realm, our efforts have not reduced the group's terrorism capability and global reach. The resources needed for terrorism are very modest, and the group would have to suffer even heavier losses on territory, manpower, and money for its terrorist capacity to decline significantly.
Now, at this point, I have to wonder if the Western coalition is doing all that it can. We know that some have claimed it's just a bit of show, that it's not being pushed back enough, that the mightiest army in the world, surrounded by allies, should have been able to crush this group by now. I understand that there are delicacies in going in and bombing. You can't simply carpet bomb an area that ISIS controls when it's filled with civilians. That's understandable. But more has to be done to push back against this group that is making tens of millions of dollars per month, according to Brennan, through both taxation and black market oil supplies. That's money that will continue to fund terrorism. It will continue to fund the propaganda that is used to, well, bring about sympathizers like Omar Mateen to carry out their own attacks. ISIS is a growing threat. CIA Director John Brennan laid out exactly how big of a threat. The question is whether Western political leaders have the stomach and the budget necessary to do what needs to be done to eradicate this threat. At this point, my guess is no, but maybe his sober warning might be able to change some minds.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of The Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.